Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a spotlight on the Weaponographist. I'm totally butchering that. Weaponographist. There we go. This is a game that was created by Pooba. Not Pumbaa. That's a totally different animal. That's a smelly warthog. This is Pooba. These are the same people behind the Concursion game that I covered just over a year ago, I believe. This is a kind of a twin-stick shooter, I'm going to call it, but not really because there's only partially shooting. What you do is you go around and you kill things in a dungeon, and the trick here is that your weapons break after a certain amount of uses. I was about to say time, but it's not time. So let's take a quick look at the options menu. Not a whole lot here. There's window size, but it's disabled with full screen. So full screen, it's, well, as it sounds, full screen. It does lock your mouse, which is nice, although it doesn't use your mouse. So yeah, there's that. It's kind of a pointless thing. You've got your picture size, which does in fact work. Only goes that small. I'm not sure why it only goes that small, but I don't really see the point in having this myself. So, but that's me. Some people might like it. I would like to see in here actual resolution. Not that I can see it really being a big issue because it's not really using any system resources at all. Like, my video card is 20%. My CPU, every core is idling around 10% right now. I'm not in the game, so I guess it doesn't really count right now, but still, it's not very intensive. So, music and sound, you've got separate sound effects for your music and your sound effects, which is nice. You've got your keyboard controls, they are not rebindable. And I am not sure why they're not rebindable, especially since you've got a controller option, and the controller is rebindable. It's a little weird, and to be honest, I've tried the controller and it was as useless can be because of the way this game does the combat. And we'll get into that, well, right about now. So let's hop in here. So I am not too far into the game. So here we are Doug McGrave, or McGrave, I guess. And yeah, we are a master of arms, a master of all weapons. And we kind of left this little town, I guess. It looks more like a caravan, but, you know, we'll call it a town because they call it a town. We left it behind because they couldn't pay for us to go and help them out. And this is our squire. He's kind of dopey, but he does have the leaderboard, the achievements, and how to play. So kind of nice. Kind of nice information to have, although it does explain how to play fairly well. So these four critters here, I call them critters because why not? These guys have different upgrades. So right now I've just made it to dungeon level 2. And yeah, we've got a whole bunch of new upgrades here. So I can get combo meter number 2. Increased health capacity. The combo meter I'll explain in a bit. This guy here, he sends his pet chests, as you can see. They're very happy to see him. And they contain different things. And they just randomly appear in certain areas. And what you can do is you buy these, and it's a guaranteed that you'll find them at some point during the dungeon. It's not guaranteed you'll get them in a run before you die, but they will be available at some point. I haven't had a problem. I've had really no problem coming across these, like the speed rune and the health up rune. Bought them earlier, got them pretty early on, to be honest. This lovely young beefy lady, she sells upgrades for your weapons. So it's not really an upgraded weapon because you don't keep your weapon, but it's upgraded proficiency, I guess. You do more damage. You do more damage, just say what it does, right? So, I've just recently acquired the whip, which I hate, honestly, out of the ones that I like the sword and the machine gun. Those are the two I like. The chainsaw, I hate. The bow is just horrible. The spear is okay. And the fists are, well, fists. So just too close. Each weapon has its own kind of range, its own abilities, its own everything. This guy's just magic. He's magic. He does magic. And I only have the fire ring. So I'll crank that up a little bit more. So what we've got here, this little totem here, this allows me to start on the different dungeon levels. And if I just go in here, I go to a different dungeon. So if we go here, this is potentially going to cost us something. There we go. So we are now on level 2. As you can see in the lower right, just kind of avoiding everything. If you look in the lower right, you see this bar. And there's 2 bars, one's flashing, and it says level 1 beside the lower one. As I kick these guys' asses, so now the top bar has a bit in it, but it's going down. So what that is that's your combo meter. Your combo meter, as it goes up, I believe you do a bit more damage, but it has to do pretty much directly with your level. And of course, because I stood here for so long letting these guys, you know, spawn and gang up on me, I'm not in a good position to go. So you want to get your combo meter up as high as you can. And you want to do very little damage. Or you want to do as much damage as you can, but you want to take very little damage. And I'm not doing very good. So this is the whip. It's really quite fast, but it does very little damage. And you might be hearing a lot of tapping. This is my main complaint with this game, is the fact that every attack, and I'm dead. Yeah. The challenges of talking and trying to play, I actually don't feel like I'm too terrible at this, but it's definitely got some issues. I'm just going to go into level 1 here. I feel like this is much easier for me to handle. So we start off with this. This is kind of how you start. So as you can see, I have to constantly spam. If I just hold the button down, nothing happens. It's on button press is when your weapon activates. For pretty much every weapon except if we... Wow, I'm actually doing really sucky here. If we get to the second area, we should be able to get, like the second room, we should be able to get some Tommy guns. Oh, and the goop that they're dropping, that is the currency. So, let's pick this guy up. I found that in the first room, you end up getting a lot of heart drops. I'm not sure if that's just me, if I'm just really, I guess, lucky, or what, but I get a lot of item drops or a lot of heart drops in the first room, and then pretty much nothing the rest of the time. So it's not sure if that's intended or if that's just the random number generator or what. I can't believe I haven't got a Tommy gun yet. Normally it's like the first guy drops it. So another kind of beef I have with it is, let's get this Tommy gun. Like, you see how these guys are lunging with the spears? And I can't. Like, it's basically always the same. You just attack. They just have slightly different reaches or in different damage output. Like, there's definitely... There we go. Now this is the Tommy gun. So the Tommy gun is the only one that you can hold down the button. And you just spray. Now, not necessarily the best way to go about it, but it's the only one you can do that with. So it's kind of my beef with it. I really wish that if I just held the button down, he would attack at whatever the weapon speed should be, instead of having to, spam. It's very frustrating, and this is where the controller aspect of it becomes, well, less than useless. Because if you bind the keys, which it doesn't have any default bindings, you have to actually bind the keys. What you have to do is, if you do your standard twin stick style, well, you're gonna be constantly flicking. And that is annoying as hell. And kind of terrible. So I find that is quite useless. And this is actually a perfect place to talk about this enemy. This ranger or archer or whatever. You notice how she's able to aim sideways, and there's one of the chests. I got a heart. Oh, and I got a sprint mode room. She is the only one, so far anyway, that I've come across that can actually shoot at an angle. And I've had her shoot at a 90-degree angle. I was trying to display something there with the bow. You can't. That bothers me. That's, the game can do something that the player can't. The player is supposed to be a master of all weapons. Anything that somebody in the dungeon can do, he should be able to do, in my mind. Other than really those two issues, let's continue to depth 2. Other than those issues, I really don't have much of a problem with the game. The game is actually pretty good. There is this whole, it's there's no delay. It's as soon as everything's spawned, you're being attacked. It's there's no delay. No nothing. And that's a mild annoyance. I really wish that there was, it was paused for, just an additional second. It's also funny that I can move faster than bullets. Get dead, you stupid lion tamer. It's kind of nice that they have very tight hitboxes, and I just walked into bullets. They have a very, very nice tight hitbox. So it's very, very easy to avoid getting shot. You can almost shoot under their armpit. That's how close it is. It's pretty impressive. At times, it can feel like the hitbox is off a little bit, but I think that is kind of a minor... It's a minor problem for having the hitbox so tight. Overall, talking and playing is horrible. I'm normally pretty bad at these. I really am. I'll be honest. But I'm not normally this bad. Wow. Anyway, yeah, overall, it's actually a really fun game. I really wish that I could just hold down the key and have it go. The spamming, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate having to button mash, especially on my keyboard. It's something that actively pisses me off. I'd like a little bit more distribution of health. I'll get 5 or 6 on this first room. a bit better pickup. I find that sometimes the pickups seem to be bound directly to the hitbox. So you have to be pretty much right on top of it. It has to be on your feet in order to pick it up. And that was actually a really bad example because I would have preferred the sword. Yeah, it's just... And again, that's a minor thing. There's nothing major that I can pick out in this game that's wrong. The art style is really quite good. Wouldn't mind if, like, the sword swing animation was a little bit beefier. Like, it more looks like he's just kind of stabbing gently. The rest of them seem pretty good. Like, I don't... Actually, we might be able to show this bow. This bow is horrible. We're not. Reckless abandon. And you get magic. You actually can have... Technically, you can have 2 weapons. I'm damned if I'm gonna get one. No bow, no nothing. Oh. Isn't this just a great cup of bacon? This chick pisses me off. There we go. There's a bow. So you would think, okay, ranged weapons can be shot by just holding. Well, no. Like, it does a lot of damage, but it's slow, very, very slow, which you would kind of expect from something that does a lot of damage. But you can't angle it. And they can. And it's just... You have to keep spamming. And it's just doesn't feel right with that. Especially since the Tommy gun you just hold down. And I kind of get the idea behind that. But for the most part, I don't like it. It should be on like a delay, so you just hold it down, you know, and it shoots at its max rate. And if they can shoot at an angle, why the hell can't I? And it's not that I haven't tried. I most certainly have. Like, I'm spamming up and to the left. Like, and it doesn't last very long either. Them dodging is nice, though. Just don't do what I just did there. Yeah, so that's pretty much my thoughts. It's definitely fun. It's available for, I believe it's $9.99. I haven't seen an official statement on the price, but on the Steam forums they've listed at $9.99. They've stated that it should be $9.99 when it's released. So maybe I just haven't dug enough. I don't know, but you know, it's $9.99, presumably US. Anyway, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time.